So today I'm presenting the AI Agent Registry, a project that I've been working on with Anode for the summer. And the basic idea of this project is automating tasks with agentic AI workflows. So, first of all, we'd like to get some definitions out of the way and set a bit of context for the work we did over the summer. So agentic AI it's a topic that's being widely covered in the tech space right now. A lot of major companies are working on AI agents and looking at various innovations that can be done with agentic AI. So basically, agentic AI includes these systems that are capable of reasoning, planning, and taking actions to achieve goals autonomously. These systems basically worked through these agentic workflows that can chain tasks together intelligently. So I have a figure on the right that has a bit of a rundown of how AI agents work. So we have a user who is responsible for goal setting, and then we have the LLM, which leads into the planning, the execution, and this process can sort of iterate as much as needed to make sure that you get the best results out of your data and your prompt. And this is then executed into the output. So it's it's basically a broader expansion of what AI is. Here we have AI agents, and these agents are made and they're fine tuned to do specific tasks, and they're supposed to be good at doing a specific task that we've trained them for. So, why does it matter? This is really important for automating repetitive or complex tasks. It improves productivity, speed, and decision making. So, essentially, if you have a lot of manual work to do on a specific task that can just be done by an AI agent, it can ensure that you can focus on more important, more significant components of your project instead. So moving on, so I mentioned this word prior, workflows, and this term is important because that is what we will delve into with the registry. So these are predefined sequences or playbooks that agents can execute to achieve an outcome. So when we say playbooks, we mean a certain example of a use case that an agent can do, right? So, for example, creating a LinkedIn headshot for a specific person based on their profile, or generating a sales sheet, or researching a topic and drafting a paper on it, like various use cases that AI can be used for. And it goes through various steps to execute those use cases. Those are workflows, those are our playbooks. Um, so we have a few examples here, like summarizing reports, generating business insights, and scheduling and managing tasks across teams. So this is the core part of the AI agent registry project that we worked on over the summer. So this is the registry. We will go into a demo of it once this presentation is over, and then we'll go over how you can actually use these different use cases that we have on the registry. But we essentially have a catalog of AI agent workflows, as I mentioned, these playbooks. And what we've done is we've brainstormed multiple use cases that AI agents can be used for in various domains, such as business, education, productivity. And we've come up with these use cases, we've tested out playbooks, and we've collected them all in this centralized hub of sorts that users can just navigate to and try out different agents at. And the purpose of this is that it can help teams and individuals quickly adopt AI for automating real world tasks. So, when we talk about the registry project for the summer, a really important component of it is the collaborations that we're working on. And one of our main collaborations was with Lutra. And basically, Lutra is an AI driven platform which is designed to help users automate complex workflows simply by using conversational natural language instructions. And these are basically these instructions, these use cases are built across sales, finance, marketing, operations, and more. So what Lutra allows you to do is also create these playbooks. If you ask Lutra to do a certain task, um, the agents or the fine-tuned agents that Lutra has, they execute that task and they allow you to save it as a playbook that can be recreated and recycled basically. So say if someone has found prompts that are really good for doing a certain task and they want to share those prompts with other people, you can use those playbooks instead of having to come up with those prompts yourself. And this made perfect sense for a collaboration with Anode because that is what we were trying to do with our agent registry. So working with Lutra allowed us to look at how the first demo of the registry can look. We'll go further into what Anode is working on for its own playbooks further in these slides. But for now, most of the links on the website lead to Lutra's website because we are collaborating with them on the playbooks that we have. All right, so now we talk a little bit about another project that we're working on over the summer, the Autonomous Intelligence Project, which ties in very strongly with the registry project because that is within the short-term goals of our registry. So the idea of autonomous intelligence is to also create Anode's own agentic workflows for various use cases. So here we have a little breakdown of what this workflow looks like. So you have a bunch of components. So first we have the customer inquiry. We have the user, for example, who comes to Upreach and requests a specific list of leads and tailored emails to send. And then that leads into the AI workflow. And that's the bulk of the work that we're doing over the summer. It's to create these workflows that can process these commands and then create and follow specific guidelines and rules to sift through the data to find the most useful results based on the input. And then the third component is the data itself. And this is obviously a very important part of the workflow because it determines the output and the quality of the output that our model works on. So it sources the AI-powered data foundation plus the web, and it sources out the most reliable leads, basically. For example, when it comes to this particular use case for email sending. And then it executes the task. In this case, it's the email, sending out those emails. And then the fifth component, and again, a major part of what we were working on over the summer, has been these automations. So ensuring that whatever systems we're working on are automated so that if a user has a very important use case that they want to work on without it taking too much of their time, without it taking too much manual work, it can just keep going on by itself. But we also want to make sure that it does that task well. So when we talk about the Autonomous Intelligence Project, it's also important to talk about Databricks, a collaboration that we have started with, a collaboration that we have started on the Autonomous Intelligence Project over the summer, because the future vision of our registry includes integrating Anode's Autonomous Intelligence Project into the AI Agent Registry. And what this collaboration with Databricks has allowed us to explore has been how we can leverage their data processing and their AI infrastructure, their data pipelines for agents to access fresh insights, as well as their tools for training, fine tuning, and deploying agentic playbooks at scale. How all of these technologies can ensure that our autonomous intelligence project works effectively and is reliable, and therefore is something that can be an effective part of our registry. So capabilities include the AI agents being able to process large dynamic data sets effectively, seamless connections to BI dashboards, predictive analytics, and automation workflows, as well as foundation for adaptive and data-driven autonomous agents. So essentially, now we talk about why we worked on this project. Why should one care about what the AI agent registry is? The first most important thing is that within the sole act of creating these agents, working on these playbooks and working on the autonomous intelligence project as well, we are trying to make systems more efficient. So we're trying to reduce the manual work, repetitive tasks, so that companies, individuals, founders can all focus on tasks that actually matter. Secondly, scalability. So a lot of the use cases we've been working on involve scalability in the sense that we handle large workloads with minimal human intervention. So very large scale tedious tasks that would normally take a lot of energy, that would take a lot of resources, can just be done by some AI agents. And we have this centralized hub so that um, it reduces the amount of time you'd spend on looking for the best agent for a certain task because we've already done that work for the customer. And then finally, the innovation. So this AI agent registry, it's a work in progress. Within the act of coming up with use cases, creating autonomous intelligence systems, we are ensuring that we stay ahead with evolving AI agent capabilities. So ensuring that whatever we do, we are staying at the forefront of um, the trendiest use cases or the most important use cases in a certain period of time within the AI domain, which is essentially what we're trying to do at Ano. And then the future of Anode's AI agent registry. So this can also be broken down into three steps. Um, First of all, we have the short-term goals. The short-term goals include expanding these playbooks with our Lutra AI collaboration. So thinking of more use cases, thinking of more domains where we can create these playbooks and we can create automations to make businesses more efficient. We're also working on our own autonomous intelligence project, which will look further into how our own playbooks can look like. The medium term goals include integrating leaderboards and performance metrics. So when we say that Anode's going to have its own playbooks, and we already have Lutra's playbooks, we are working on metrics to evaluate which agents perform better for which tasks. And then essentially rank how well agents or have a metric or have a system to evaluate how well certain agents are at performing certain tasks, because right now um, it is just some agents. There's not a lot of evaluation as to which agent's better, which agent is not so good, which agent needs a bit of work, and this is important for fine tuning these models later on as well. And then in the long term, what this agent registry can look like would be a full ecosystem of customizable, adaptive AI agents in the Armor portal. A huge component of the work we've done this summer at Anode has been looking into collaborations, looking into how we can create a community around AI. And there's truly no more significant way of creating this community than having a registry of AI agents that are contributed by individuals within the AI space. As I mentioned before, this project is growing, and the version that we have right now is essentially the first version will have, and there's a lot of work to be done um, in terms of scaling this project in the future. So, just going a bit into the summary of the main things we've talked about today, and the main things that this agent registry project um, constitutes of, and essentially what I have done over the summer as well, and the work that I've contributed to with the Anno team. So, first of all, we have specific AI agents for the registry. We've created a registry of agents for specific use cases that we've come up with, that we've looked through, that we've done quality control on. And then we've also developed software development kits for agentic frameworks. So we've done work on Anode's own side about how we can create agentic workflows, and we can create our own playbooks that can um, contribute to various tasks that any enterprise or any customer might need automated. Thirdly, we've looked at use cases, we've looked at case studies. This is another thing that we're going to delve more into as we'll have users work on our playbooks and give feedback as to how each playbook performs and how we can improve certain output. This is where these case studies and these use cases will come in very handy. Again, most of the work that we have done and we will continue to do will be very community oriented in nature. And then, as we've talked about, we're also looking into agent monitoring and evaluation. So, monitoring how different agents are performing at a certain time, evaluating which agents are good at certain use cases, which agents are good at which use cases, and then based off of that, improving these agents and coming out with better versions of them are all very important components of the agent registry project. So, I'd like to end this presentation with just a few open-ended questions, just a few discussion topics to keep in mind as we delve into this conversation. So some of these questions include: what type of workflows would you want to see automated with AI agents? Where do you see the biggest opportunity for agentic AI in your day-to-day work? What concerns or blockers do you have around adopting autonomous agents? How would you measure the success of an AI agent in your workflow? And what categories or capabilities should we prioritize next in the agent registry as we move forward with this project? Yeah, this basically concludes the presentation. So now we can look at what this registry looks like. So this is the AI agent registry. It's on Anode's Armor portal. As you can see, we have a grid of various use cases that we've come up with, and then we've sorted them into categories. And again, this is all a work in progress. These categories are going to be expanded. There's going to be more use cases. We're going to fine tune these use cases. So just as an example, if you want to look at this, the interview question generator, say you're preparing for an interview, this will link to all of these playbooks right now are linked to Lutra's websites. So we have a ready to make, a ready to use playbook for interview practice. And then there's essentially there's a stepwise breakdown of how these playbooks work. There's also the code for them, since this is something that can be iterated on or improved by someone if they want to further tailor their prompts. But yeah, essentially what this playbook would do would be that you would put certain amounts of input into it for certain roles, certain seniority levels, and then it will basically search for relevant websites, analyze their content for suitability, and ensure that these resources are authoritative and effective for interview preparation.